Oh, that's... You know, you can tell just by getting close to the mug sometimes. Yeah, that's nowhere near ready. Holy crap. Does anybody have tips on Today we're covering a game called A Short Hike. Now, I like to spend these little announcements videos just kind of chilling and chatting and being like hi and asking people to say pumpernickel. By the way, fun fact, most, I guess engagement is the proper word, most comments we've ever gotten on any of these announcement videos was when I asked you to say pumpernickel. I'm honestly curious, like that's... Do I need to ask more questions? Do they need to be silly questions? I can ask silly questions. Let's see. Would you prefer to be like if you were a transformer, right? Imagine you're a transformer. Do you want to be like a really big transformer, like an aircraft carrier, or maybe a little bit smaller, like a tank or a air fighter jet, you know? Or do you want to be a much smaller transformer that can infiltrate, like a transformer of a TV or a monitor or like a vacuum cleaner or something? Okay, now that we've asked that, you're probably wondering why I'm not talking about A Short Hike. So here's the thing. I don't know nothing about this game. I know that it's acceptable, and that it's going to be short. We'll finish it in the first shift today, so we'll probably be starting Crusader Kings 3 later today. So you'll see another one of these from me today, probably. That's all I know. It's going to be a true blind run, which we haven't actually had under the current system, I do believe. Here's my question to you, my real question to you. Do you prefer walking into a new game, it's a gradient, right? As blind as possible? Or do you prefer walking in knowing as much as possible? Like as much as is feasible prior to actually playing the game. And as usual, why? See, for me, I can share my own thoughts on the matter. I don't think I have a preference between the two, because I like both. Over this side, over here, walking in blind, it allows me to be surprised by the game, to experience it fresh and without any pre-existing, judgments or biases or expectations or whatever. Plus, it allows the game to surprise me a bit. And while I don't want to sound bragging, while I have a decent track record for figuring out games, before the games reveal themselves to me, it's still nice to have that moment of what's going to happen next, right? Especially when I don't even know the genre of a game. If you're remembering, one of the last times we played a game on this on stream where I didn't even know the genre was Subnautica. No, not a week ago. Like 5 years ago. When we first played Subnautica for the very first time, I didn't even know what the genre of the game was. And boy, did that one surprise me. I ended up loving that game. But the last reason I wanted to mention this, and this is probably just me showing my age a little bit, is it reminds me of what I used to do back in the day. I used to go to the rental shop and rent video games. I had the great fortune of being within, like an hour's walk of a rental shop, and I was more than willing and capable of making that walk to go rent a game. My mom actually set me up with one of those. It wasn't a Blockbuster. The Blockbuster was the other side of town. That's the fancy place. No, I went to the local place. But the local place had this weird deal. Rather than charging you per day, like most places would, or like for a three-day rental or whatever, instead, they charged us a monthly fee, and what that meant is it was a library at that point. I could have one game checked out at a time, and as soon as I returned it, I could go check out another game. That was awesome. That was only true in this one place, which was in Northern California. But still, I remember going to the rental place and just trying stuff, right? More or less literally going down the line and just trying out another game and seeing what I like of it. As you might imagine, I encountered a lot of really terrible video games as a consequence of that. But I also found some gems I never would have even heard of or found otherwise. And that's kind of true nowadays, too. I actually keep a list. I don't know if it's actually here. Hang on, let me double check my notes, because these notes are pretty full. But I actually kept a list briefly for a little while there of games I never would have... Ah, here it is. Games I never would have played, and in some cases, I've never even encountered, if not for the random nature of just renting a game, which is kind of the equivalent of walking in blind here, right? Witcher 3, Yakuza 0, Ghost of Tsushima, Black Mesa, Kingdom Come Deliverance, the Ace Attorney series, Hitman 2, the recent one, Subnautica, Resident Evil 2 Remake, West of Loathing, highly recommended, Pillars of the Earth, Vermintide 2, Vampire, The Golden Suns, yes, that's on the GBA, The Sexy Brutale, or Brutale, I don't know how you pronounce that, but either way, I recommend that one too. I recommend a lot of these, by the way. Duskers, Fire Emblem, Spyro, Colonel Sanders, Spellforce 3. There's more. That list was made a couple of years ago. But the point is, all of that is stuff I never would have experienced if not for that pseudo-random nature of being able to walk into a game blind and run a game. I know I'm mixing my analogies here, but from my mindset, it's kind of the same thing. It's one of the reasons why I have put so much work and effort into making sure that the games that end up in the queue for streaming are not dominated by my choice. Because if I just picked games, I got a list a mile long of games I want to try out. Just, it's a really big list. I actually have, no joke, I've got 3 separate lists. One I maintain on the computer, one I maintain on the website, and one I maintain on my phone, just in case I hear about a game that sounds interesting. This is not a small. We got Terra Nil, Wandering Village, Necro City, Laysara, Bulwark, Foundations, Good Company, Aquatico, Manor Astro Colony, Astra Libra, Heist Simulator, Alliance of the Sacred Sons, Lightyear Frontier, Ixion, Fragile Existence, Noble Fates, Great House. I'm not going to read the whole list. There's lots of games that I want to try out. But again, I like having that I don't know what this is experience. And of course, obviously that's not the main reason I do that. The main reason I do this is so that you guys can decide what we stream. But the secondary reason is so that we get that extra little bit of I never would have even known about it variety. And that's where we're at with A Short Hike. I know that was a long, bloviating way to get around to that point, but I stand by it. Oh, and obviously the benefit of playing a game that I actually know is that there's a pretty decent chance I know what I'm getting into, and I'm going to enjoy it. And an equally decent chance it's going to suck and disappoint me horribly, but that's neither here nor there. Enough rambling. Let's go and get on with this and see what it is.